I'm here with Dan Baumann. He's been teaching on the DTS this week, and I have just been so encouraged and inspired and strengthened in faith just listening to you share stories. This guy's been through like some incredible stuff. We're in prison in Iran. You've gone over like every border in the 1040 windows, like your favorite place to hang out. Been a missionary for over 30 years.
33 years, yeah.
That's crazy. With YWAM the whole time.
Yeah, I've been to over 111 countries.
What's Lauren Cunningham like?
Lauren is amazing. He's been to all countries on the earth.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I haven't met him yet. Hopefully soon. Something you shared this week in the classroom was just really encouraging to me and helpful to me. And like, I think it's a question that we ask a lot of times, like, how do I know that I'm hearing God? Like, how do I know for sure that this is God? And what's your take on that?
Well, to be honest with you, I think 100% being sure that it's God speaking to you is really overrated. Most of the time in my own journey, I am not 100% sure. And even if I want that, why are those the reasons I want it? It's because I don't want to fail. I don't want to do the wrong thing. I want to make sure it's God. But I'm finding in my own journey that most Christian guidance is somewhere between 51 to 99% sure it's God. Like you think it's God, or you hope it's God, or you have more peace than less peace, or you kind of have an inkling. But it's not like 100%, which is kind of what we want so we won't fail. But most in my life I found as I step out and take a risk in what I have this sense that it's the right thing, is forcing me to trust God. And the more I trust God, the more I find out He's trustworthy. So I love being able to step out in these little senses that, yeah, what God's called you to do, because He is trustworthy and He's worth it to step out and do what He's asked you to do, even if you're not 100% sure.
That's it. Love it. Thank you for being here this week.
Yeah, thank you.
Bless you on the journey ahead, headed to Brazil.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Thank you so much.
So, real talk. This week, we went to Colorado last week, and coming back, just had some perspective on different things with our family. I know that we are not in a healthy place, but I've been thinking about why and what steps are we supposed to take forward. And something that became really just apparent to me while we were there was just that we're not in the right context and the right setup with our housing. Just not an ideal situation for multiple reasons. I won't go into it. But I realized that we had been making the situation better in a lot of ways through perspective and talking with God about it, but that I hadn't really given God permission to do what He wanted with the situation. I kind of was like, okay, it'd be nice if we could do this and this, but that's impossible. And this week I realized that I was limiting God on His ability to provide for our family, and that I kind of had in my head sort of this thought process of like, how is this possible to do this? I don't think it's possible. I don't see a way it's possible. So I'll just figure out a way to be happy with where we're at. And I just realized that God wasn't asking me to do that. Honestly, sitting there, spending time with the Lord this week, and felt like He was just saying, you're willing to believe me to provide for your family to move overseas, but you're not willing to believe me to provide for a healthy place for you. Just being in Dan's talk this week, I just realized that God's not worried about all that, and He just wants to be friends with me and wants me to trust Him. All right. It is the end of the day. I'm headed home. It's like warm here. It used to be cold. In Norway, it just snowed. Norway, I have not forgotten about you. I still think about you. Yeah, cool opportunity today getting to interview Dan Baumann on a podcast. Like, dude's been in prison in Iran. Like, crazy stuff. I I can't really go into all the details of what's happening right now, but I'll just say it this way. There was a space where I wasn't believing God could provide. And it really was coming down to I didn't want to risk some things. Believing God is risky. Doing things and trust in God is risky. And there's no way around that. There's no way to know for sure if something's God until you just believe in faith and take a step forward. And so some things happening where I just basically realized, you know what, I'm unwilling to take this risk here, but not because God's telling me not to, or because it's, something that I'm not supposed to do that's wrong, but just simply because I didn't want to fail and I didn't want to go into a bad place. And I just asked the Lord, is this you? Or are you wanting me to go here to do this? And I felt like he was like, yeah, that's where I want you to go. Simple. And I wasn't like 100% sure that he was saying that. I was probably like 60% sure. But I went for it, and it just feels like God's working through several different things right now. And it's like, wait a minute, God, maybe you could do this. So I don't know where this is going to go, to be completely honest. I don't know how the situation plays out. If it plays out in a good way, then we'll tell you more about it, I guess. But
Good. Hey, stop! You see these clothes? Your brother did the same thing. Copy.
I like that guy. I'm having to work through some stress at work. My head's getting hot. My chest is getting tight.
Oh, he pinched me in the face and biting me on my toe and on my back.
You're standing up.
I lost a tooth. I lost 3 tooths.
3 tooths. Thanks for watching. I'm going to link the podcast that I shot with Dan Baumann here. And while you're over there, subscribe to the YWAM Kansas City YouTube channel. You might see me appear over there occasionally. We are some honest missionaries sharing from our missions journey, and you should follow along with our journey.